modern technology and the role it's playing in ancient art. On this Sunday, 60 Minutes, Bill Whitaker is traveling to Carrara in northern Italy to visit a studio where robots are carving sculptures. Now, traditional artists say the country's artistic heritage is on the line.
Meet Robo, one of the brigade of robots taking over sculpture. We watched as Leonardo da Vinci's trademark hat was adjusted, not with a hammer and chisel, but a 13-foot zinc alloy arm and a spinning diamond-crusted finger. Water jets kept Leonardo cool. This was a week's work for Robo, with another 2 to go.
So if you were doing this the old-fashioned way, hammer and chisel, how long would this take?
10 times more, at least.
10 times longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Masari told us his mechanical employees, 7 and counting, don't sleep, get sick, or take holidays. He took robots off the automotive line and gave them bigger brains.
And the robot will work all these ridges.
Robotor's chief technician, also a sculptor, turns the artist's model into a 3D file. That generates a complex set of instructions that tells the robot exactly where to carve, right down to the last ½ inch.
How much of the work is done by the robot and the computer, and how much by the human artist?
We are talking a very high percentage that can be done by the machining.
Like how much?
Like 99%.
99%?
Yeah. And the very final 1%, that is the most important, is still done by very skilled artisans in our workshop.
Just 1%? But that 1%, Masari told us, can translate into months of human work. Still, we wondered, was using a robot a bit like cheating?
If you have a robot doing 99% of the work, where's the artistry?
In the idea, how you program the machine, it's a work of art because it's an artistic approach. You need to have a sculptural background to program the machine in the way that you want.
That is
I don't know,
interesting.
it feels kind of like art to me.
It is impressive. It's
it is
It's
impressive.
mass and mechanical produced stuff. It's not art. I mean, the idea, and also the idea that the software is somehow art, it could be creative and interesting, but like the original construction, Da Vinci's original statue, that's art. These are just copies.
But he said somebody had to program it in. Tony, but he said somebody had to program it in to make it look...
Machines stamp out things of all shapes and sizes all over the world. This pen was made in some factory somewhere. Is it art? No. Now, if a human being made this by hand, it could be art. But you need a human being making it by hand for it to be art.
But technology and tools, they improve over time.
Yeah.
Say the way they make a home 100 years ago is a lot different than the way they make one now. Does that take away from the artistry or the architecture or how the home was built or a building downtown in New York?
Yes, it's a great example. And we have all these protected buildings in New York and all kinds of cities with facades that have beautiful designs that were created by hand by artisans 50, 100, 200 years ago. Now they just make them in big factories, they stamp them out. We're not going to protect those. No one cares about those. They have no value.
But they are impressive, though.
They're impressive because of the guys that did it 200 years ago, 150 years ago. The ones that you're just stamping out now, they're going to fall off and be in the junkyard before you know it. No one cares. It's not art.
Okay.
Okay, we can see Bill Whitaker's full report on 60 Minutes this Sunday after NFL football.
Don't mess with Tony Dokoupil, y'all.